Hey, what's up guys? It's Technical Tim here, and I want to thank everyone so much who's been liking all my videos and subscribing to the channel, and I'd really appreciate if you gave this video a thumbs up or subscribe if you haven't already. And I want to apologize, I haven't sent out a video for about a week, which is kind of long for me, so I've been just a little busy with some stuff. I know like about 10 days, about an event or two ago, I had mentioned I had some kind of like family issues at home. They're all resolved now, but they kind of it took a couple weeks for everything to calm down and get back to normal, but I'm back at kind of my place now in Chicago, and everything's all good now, so should be much more of a routine again. So that's the only reason why. And yes, I just wanted to mention that and apologize for that. And also another thing, just a few house cleaning items, because I haven't talked to you guys for a while. I'll timestamp the video so you guys can skip ahead if you don't want to hear this stuff. But Gugabe and I, we've seen the complaints on the audio for the podcast, and we'll get better at the podcast in general too, just like the audio and things like that, and just yeah, like kind of structure to it. So just be patient, but we tried a new software this week to fix the audio, because I read the comments and I really try my best. You guys are all like really cool on there too and aren't dicks. It's like constructive criticism, which I'm totally cool for. And I saw some complaints about the audio, and I'm gonna fix that, but we had some technical issues with kind of the new approach that we tried to make, so I don't know if I'm gonna be able to upload that. So what I'm going to do this week on this video is I'm just going to go through the card kind of broadly, every fight, kind of like a final thoughts video like I always do, but just kind of quickly. But I'll also kind of mention maybe like some of the key points, like because some of the fights Gugabe might be playing that I'm not, I'll kind of just mention like maybe some of the ones that he was leaning. Like I don't know if they're his official plays, but kind of some things that we talked about. So I'll go through each fight, kind of give my opinions, maybe mention a fight that he liked or something. And yeah, so we'll do that. And what else did I want to talk about? Oh, also, because I didn't get to send out a recap video to last event, I'm very transparent. You guys know that. I'm fair on these videos. I'm not a guy who claims I crush it every event, because no one crushes at every event. That's just not a thing. No better in the history of the world does that. But so I admit, when we've been kind of doing well lately. Last week I lost a couple units amongst the Contender Series, Bellator, and the UFC. I think I lost about 3 units total, so nothing crazy or anything, but I just did want to say that, and that's normal. That shit's gonna happen. But it wasn't a big loss or anything, so that's good. You always want to minimize it. But my pick, like Van Buren on my preview, that one hit. And I had just like a couple other picks that I didn't talk, that I ended up playing, that I don't even think I talked about in the previews to my previous videos last week. But I think I forced a couple picks that I shouldn't have made. So I think the lesson that I learned, every now and then you have a week or an event where sometimes you just force a few picks, and it's going to happen over the year, and you kind of learn, and then and you adjust. So that's what I plan on doing. So I just wanted to mention that, but it wasn't a bad week or anything, but I did lose 2-3 units, and I want to try to win every week. You can't do that, but you can at least attempt to. But enough of all that bullshit. Let's talk about the RDA and Edwards card. And yeah, so let's start with the bottom. Son and Batista. I wouldn't play Son here, and I think he's currently minus 190. I think there's kind of recency bias in the fact that he kind of got graded on a bit of a curve against Peter Yan, and I saw some other regional tape on him as well, where he kind of just like took a beating and didn't get completely killed. So I think people are maybe overestimating him a little bit. And Bautista like got his ass beat by Sandhagen, but his regional tape doesn't look bad. So I do think, I'm not going to play this fight, but I do think Bautista's probably the value side. I think Gugabe is actually on Batista, like actually playing him. I'm not going to play that fight because there's a little bit of unknowns, because there's just not much tape on Son. I found some really digging on his, like, I think they're like Deep Impact or whatever the fuck they are, that Korean league. I saw some tape on there, but he's not a guy I want to bet at minus 190. Pilarte Calares, I think Pilarte is going to win, but I'm not interested in playing him over minus 300. Minus 300s, like, a lot of people will kind of parlay them up and play them often. And, like, people were hitting Simone last week, and you'll get burned occasionally. Like, if two of those in a row don't hit, all the previous, like, 6 that you hit before that kind of end up getting negated. So you have to be careful when you're playing big favorites like that. I'll hit one every now and then, but only if I think it's kind of a complete checkmate fight. I do think Pilarte wins. He's a better grappler. He's a better all-around fighter, better cardio, but I'm not interested in playing his line, so I don't have much to say about that. Borg Silva. The line has been intriguing here, how it's been dropping. I think Borg is only minus 210 right now. And a point that I made, if you guys can go watch my preview on Amandovsky and Jotko, I actually did a video on it where I said Joko is going to school him in the grappling, and he ended up doing it. So that's what kind of this fight reminds me of. To just assume that a guy like Silva or Amandovsky can compete in the grappling with a Borg or Jotko, who are proven to be honestly like 85th percentile or higher in their division as far as grapplers go. I think assuming that like Silva or Amandovsky can compete with them there is an optimistic assumption. It's possible. Like, I don't know. Silva might be able to, but I think it's more likely than not that he isn't going to be able to. I bet Kenny over Borg. I actually did a video on that one too. I bet Kenny over Borg earlier this year because Kenny's a legit grappler. Ended up being a close fight, and it could have went to Borg, but it was still, value side was all on Kenny. But I haven't seen anything from Silva on tape to make me think he can grapple like Kenny. He looks like kind of like an offensive striker and things like that, but it's hard to really know exactly what he is on tape. But I just don't think that I think it's dangerous playing him even at plus 175. Like, I think it's a tough thing to assume that he can automatically hang in the grappling with Borg. I probably won't play this fight because there are unknowns both ways. But if Borg continues to drop in that minus 150 to minus 160 range, I'll probably hit him, to be completely honest. Maya Modafferi. I think Ugabe's on Modafferi here. She's currently plus 120. I don't think I'm going to play this. I think it's pretty close fight. Maya minus 140 right now implies she wins around minus 140 to minus 150. Implies she wins about 60% of the time, which means to get value on her, you got to think she wins about 66 to 70% of the time. And I think that's probably not accurate. I think Modafferi could probably get grappling going. They fought before, and I actually thought Modafferi won 2 of the first 3 rounds. So if Modafferi really sticks to the wrestling game plan, I think she can come out on top here. If that line improves as well, Modafferi gets to like around plus 140 or something, I'll probably pull the trigger, but kind of like her and Borg, I'm not playing them yet, but if their lines improve, I'll think about it. Abreu Alvi, fuck that fight, not playing it. Aldana Pennington, I'm on Aldana here. I think she's a good bet. You can currently get her line's improved. I think it bounced back though, which I expected it. Even though it was improving, I was expecting people to hit Aldana because the output advantage is huge. And you can still get her around like minus 130, and she throws double the strikes. You guys know how I am with fights like this. It kind of reminds me of Archuleta and Dantas, as well as Camacho and Hine, where on paper, the skills look pretty close, like they match up, but when you actually look at the output of the fighters, there's a big difference. And I just think Aldana's going to be throwing more on the feet. And Aldana, I think people are giving her too much shit for the Beth Correa fight because Beth pressures hard, and that's when Aldana really struggles, when you pressure her extremely hard, because her defense kind of goes to shit. Pennington doesn't really do that. She'll kind of blitz in and throw like a jab or a hook or something like that, but she doesn't consistently pressure. She'll kind of come in and then out, and then kind of be on the outside. And I feel like that's where Aldana can really get her success going, whenever you're not pressuring her a lot, and she can kind of come in on you and use her length. And she's got a good jab, and Pennington's a bit of a sucker for a jab. Pennington's super hittable. Pennington's super durable, though, and tough. But overall, I think because Aldana won't be pressured here much, she won't get hit as much as she usually does, and I think she'll be able to land her jab, and she'll just be the more consistent fighter. I've seen people think Pennington can maybe get her ground game going. I think there's an outside chance for that. I don't think it's going to happen. She is one of those girls who gets that single leg and will kind of push you up against the cage, and she'll be fundamentally doing the wrong things. There is a move you can do called a head outside single, but generally whenever you're in on a single leg, you want your head on the inside. On a double leg, you want your head on the outside. Wrestlers listening to this know what I'm talking about. You could do a head outside single, but you have to be quick with it and really proficient with it, like a Cormier or something. And Pennington keeps her head on the outside, which just doesn't give you as much control with the single leg, and it allows people to scramble out. And Aldana's good at scrambling up against the cage. I also like how Aldana fishes for underhooks to get her back off the cage, and I just think overall, Aldana's takedown defense isn't amazing, but it's solid. I think it's probably better than GDR's, to be completely honest, especially because she doesn't get pushed up against the cage and settle there as much as GDR does. But overall, I think Aldana will mostly stop the wrestling, will be the busier fighter, will be throwing more, won't be pressured, so she won't have as much duress, and that jab will land. I expect Pennington to land. Like, you can still land on Aldana. I just think Aldana will be landing way more, and I think it will make it easy for the judges to score. Caceres-Peterson, close fight, not interested in it. Arlovsky-Rothwell, I think Rothwell probably wins. I think the line's about right. No interest in it. Hernandez-Trinaldo, I think Ugabe is small on Trinaldo, and I understand the Trinaldo backers. I think I'm going to stay away from this fight, though. I'm not completely sold on Hernandez. I bet Cerrone big over him earlier this year. I think Hernandez is kind of just like a fringe top 15 type of fighter and nothing more than that. I think he can kind of pressure with his wrestling at times, and he might be able to break Trinaldo late, but that's pretty much it. I don't have much to say. Hernandez doesn't have much striking defense. I could see Trinaldo threatening him at times. I do think Hernandez will probably outpace him in the end and probably grind him out, but I don't really care about that fight. Hooker-Vic, kind of a close fight. I need a tape. Don't have much to say about it now. Hardy and Adams, that's a mess of a fight. I don't give a fuck about that fight. Harris-Olenek, I tend to think Harris is going to knock him out. I think Harris needs to not give Olenek any respect. I think if Harris goes at him forward and gives him no respect, I think he'll knock him out. I think if he's tentative and he's kind of like backing up, that's when Olenek can maybe panic Harris and cause him to make a mistake, and Olenek getting him to the floor and maybe getting a submission. Harris overall defends double legs really well, so I don't think Olenek will be able to get that. The single leg from Verdum is what got Harris down, and it makes sense. Single legs people struggle with. But Olenek, I think, will have to just kind of panic Harris. I think that's the way to get him down. And so I think if Harris is tentative, there could be an opportunity for Olenek, but overall I think Harris is just going to KO him dead. But don't currently have action on that. I'll monitor the lines. RDA Edwards, people are super split on this. I have a few people who bet. There's a couple people I know, and they bet full-time MMA in Vegas, and they're split as well. Like, one of them's on Edwards, one of them's on RDA. I'm not going to go too into this. I think people who are on RDA, I understand the reasons. They think the leg kicks can be there. They think he'll eventually out pressure Edwards, and I could see that happening. I totally could. I think if he also gets on top of Edwards late, it could be an issue for Edwards. But overall, I like Edwards here. I'm not going to go too in deep. I do have a play on Edwards, not huge or anything, but I think he's just a faster striker, and I think it's going to show. Like, I don't like RDA's distance closing ability in his most recent fights, and I don't think he really looked that good against Lee from a striking perspective. I think Lee just kind of spanned takedowns and kind of just beat himself in a way. And I just I don't like RDA. There's going to be a big speed advantage, and I expect a lot of early success for Edwards in the first couple rounds. People point to the Barberena fight because it's Southpaw versus Southpaw, and Edwards struggled there, but it was really, Edwards just kind of went in there with a very grappling-based game plan and kind of just got caught in one exchange. I didn't see as much like concern in that fight as other people are pointing out, but I really think Edwards is going to be a lot faster than him on the feet early, and I really like his body lock wrestling type of game. He's good not only of wrestling and out positioning you, but also just landing elbows from that position, especially off the break. And he's got a big reach advantage. And he's a good wrestler, man. I think he's going to out-wrestle RDA in certain situations. Like, RDA's tough to hold down consistently, but Edwards does this thing where he gets that body lock, and he'll kind of get one of those hooks in, his, like, left hook, and he'll kind of use the body lock and the left hook just to kind of hold you. And it's really, the way he does it, not many other people do it like that in MMA, and he has a lot of success with it. He did against Barberena, against Luke, against a lot of guys. And RDA is susceptible to being pushed up against the cage at times, so I could see Edwards burning some clock there. And he's also a smart fighter, and I think he's going to get off to an early lead. I think he's going to win the first round or two, like, pretty clearly. And then I do think RDA's going to then he's probably going to have some success, because I do think Edwards will slow a little bit, but I don't think Edwards will slow enough to where he'll give up the last 3 rounds. I still think he's got enough ways to win the rounds, and he's smart enough to where I think he'll be able to kind of push through it and win the last couple rounds. And he might honestly, I could see him knocking out RDA early. Like, he hits hard. Probably not, but I could see that. But I just think he's going to have a lot of early success, and I think he's going to hang on to the lead. And I think he's going to win. Yeah, so that's all I really have to say about it. I know people are super split, so people in the comments might disagree with me, but I think Edwards is going to win that fight, man. But it wouldn't shock me if RDA won. But that's kind of my overall opinion. So right now, I'm still eyeing some plays, but right now I have Aldana, I have Edwards. I hit a couple props. I think Aldana's going to fuck Pennington up. And that's really it for now. But I'll be kind of looking at other things, and I'm eyeing a few other lines. So maybe I'll tweet out my final plays or something before the event. But that's all I got for now. So thank you so much, guys. Bye.